This is Gabriel Gonzalez for Cageside Press here with one of the playoff participants of the PFL heavyweight tournament, Tim Johnson, who takes on Denis Goltzov coming up not too far from now. Tim, I'd actually like to go back because now that we've had several weeks removed, you've gotten to see the reaction to that fight with Danilo in the playoff in the regular season. I'd really just like to know what was it like for you to watch it back? I mean, just look, it played out on TV. People thought that was potentially a double knockout and everything else. What was it like when you saw what everyone else did and everything else?
I was surprised. I was surprised because, like I said, I didn't even know I made contact with him. So I was, I was, and I was happy I got the finish because if I would have and then watched it back, knowing I would have been that close to a victory, I could have been pretty pissed about it. But yeah, no, it was a one in a million, probably one in a billion shot, and hopefully no one has to relive that.
Fair enough. What do the fans ask you about it? Were they just wondering how bad that low blow was, or what have fans been saying to you? Because obviously that one made quite the rounds when it happened.
I'm getting, I need to get a new nickname because I don't have a nickname. So they're saying, Tim Titanium Johnson or or there's better ways to get a vasectomy and stuff like that.
The internet undefeated, I see. I hear you.
It is. It always
Um,
is.
I'd actually like to ask you about the emotions going into this one. Obviously, it's been talked about a lot. Only one regular season fight, and it plays out as beautifully as it can for a fighter to get into the playoffs with just, one first round finish. Talk to me about it because, as you know, anything can happen out there in the cage. Did you always believe, like, hey, this is going to be a possibility, I'm making in, or I'm going to make it in? Or was there a little bit of that, man, like, I just, things played out rather perfectly. I got a little lucky because a lot of the other results could have been different too.
Yeah, a little bit of both. I'm still my mindset going in that fight is the same one as this one. I'm just rolling. I don't have no stresses. I have no worries. Whatever happens, happens. Just let's go out and fight, throw some hands, see what happens. I'm sure for this fight, I'll probably be like a 6-1 underdog. I have literally no pressure on me whatsoever. So I'm just gonna go out there and fucking let her go.
Does it feel like playing with house money, so to speak, because of the way it
I
all
think
had played out?
I think so. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go out there and be stupid, but I can be a little more free in the way I fight. Just because I'm not supposed to be here, no one expects anything of me. No one's really probably gonna say it gives me very good odds of winning, which is fine. That's kind of how most of my career's been, anyways, and I like it that way.
I'd like to talk about the other fight happening before we talk about Dennis. Obviously, someone you're familiar with in Linton, fighting a newer guy to the big show in Oleg Popov. Just what do you think of that fight and how that one plays out?
Um, I think I'm happy Lint made it in. I think he definitely earned his spot. And I don't know much about Popov at all. I haven't seen any of his fights, but I'm assuming he fights a lot like Moldovsky, a lot like Team Fedor. So I think Linton's got a pretty good recipe of how to beat those guys. So if he sticks to that, he should probably make it to the finals.
Do you let yourself think ahead to like, hey, running it back with a guy like Linton, possibly getting it back, for the belt, the prize money, etc. Or are you very good at, tunnel vision and keeping that out until you get there?
I'm pretty good at tunnel vision. There's no point daydreaming about what's ahead of you to an extent. Obviously the end goal is that, but I got a 15-minute fight with probably the best fighter on the roster in front of me. So
Does it, and maybe I'm just reaching a little bit, but I believe at the time, you're not quite in Bellator, maybe early on when the original Bellator Heavyweight Grand Prix was happening. Does
yeah.
this kind of feel like, everything happening in its own time, or am I maybe a little too introspective when asking about that?
I just answered a question similar to that. I like the tournament base. I would like it to be like when the PFL their first season or second season came around, where you fought twice through one night.
That'd be cool.
I think I'm kind of made for uh, a tournament base like that. I'm pretty pretty good at taking a beating and damage, just kind of keep trucking along. And I think tournament based on that style, I'd like to do one time, but I think that might be a thing of the past.
And then to talk about Dennis, obviously he's done very well in the PFL over the years, been the points leader a couple times, made the final. What do you think of his game and what he brings to the table as an opponent?
Like I said, I think if you put it on, Dennis is a B plus, A minus in every aspect of the game. He's not out of this world great in one aspect and just average on other stuff. His clinch work, his striking, his kicks, his ground, they're all good, really good. There's not going to be one aspect where I think I'm going to have a very big upper hand on him at all. It's going to be a dirty fight.
Maybe a bit of an odd question, but I'm assuming you've seen some tape to watch back a few of his big fights. Is there something in particular you think has kept him from winning the big one in the PFL? Is it maybe just the competition? Is it just the unpredictableness of the heavyweights? Is there something that you saw that you're like, you know what? How's a guy this good not been able to just finish that journey?
I think it's unpredictableness of the heavyweights. I said this in a previous interview. It's tough betting on heavyweights. You don't know what's going to happen. Anyone who's bet for me or bet against me, they'll back me up on that statement.
Fair enough. One final fight I'd like to ask you about. A lot of people have that, penciled in. Renan Ferreira, last year's champion, taking on Francis Ngannou. I mean, just as a spectator, how do you see that one playing out?
Um, you know, I guess I don't really. I guess I don't know. I haven't really thought of that one yet. If it's an MMA fight, I will always take Francis.
Fair enough.
I spent 3 years with him, and he's just different.
Is the power like when you're out there in sparring, like does it just feel different? Do those hands just feel a little heavier even when it's not full speed?
It's not even just the striking. It's just his strength, his size, his weight on you. Like he's hard on you. I think I had more injuries training with Francis than any of my fights,
Wow.
And it's not because he's being mean or anything. He's just that tough to handle. Like he's that big, that strong, that athletic. It is what it is.
Well, definitely looking forward to seeing that one. Finally, Tim, I'll let you go with this one. Any message to the fans tuning in for the heavyweight playoffs coming up?
Make sure you tune in. Hopefully this fight in Nashville goes better than last time I was there.
Hopefully too. Tim, thank you for the time. Best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Johnson taking on Denis Goltzov in Nashville, PFL Playoffs, ESPN Plus in the United States. You guys are not going to want to miss it.